guys, welcome to the review show. My name is Austin Challenger, starring Zendaya, Mike Feiss, and Josh O'Connor. Tashi, a tennis player turned coach, has transferred her husband from a mediocre player into a world-famous Grand Slam champion. Tension soon runs high when he finds himself standing across the net from the once promising, now burnt-out Patrick. He is former best friend and Tasha's former boyfriend. So my mic isn't really working today, so sorry if there's a little bit of an echo. This is how it's going to be for this review. But Challengers is a movie that I was really looking forward to, among other things, and not just because of the Zendaya threesome. The trailers just really promised a lot from what was going to go on in this film. It seemed like it was going to really have this high stake tension type of film, and it was that, to be honest. I really did like this film, not as much as others. I had my issues with it. I find this film to be mixed, but we'll get into that. Just starting off with the positives, this movie is with the cinematography is well done. This is a great put together film, from the camera shots, from the acting, and some story bits in the film are fantastic. I really do like the camera shots in this movie. When it comes to certain shots, when it comes to the players playing on the tennis courts, one cool shot is like from underneath like the court somewhat, and it seems like probably they were like on a glass like set or something. Like, you know, you had the camera under it, so you can see some of the court like lines, but you can also see the players hitting the tennis ball. Or, you know, there was also one where like it was like a first-person shot as well, or or a GoPro on a tennis ball. A lot of cool shots like that throughout this whole film. The tension really starts building up in this film when you start to see how they get to their certain points in their career. Like, for example, Art, who is now married to Zendaya's character in the film, which I don't remember the name of Zendaya's character. Oh, it's Tashi. I don't know why I could not remember it. I literally just read it in the description too. And you know, there's a little bit of like history between them with another guy named Patrick, who is played by Josh O'Connor. They've kind of had some of like a love triangle between one of them, and when you see the story play out, it's like, okay. Like, you know, at first it kind of started like interesting, but then the film kind of went off into like, you couldn't really root for anyone, especially Art, who I actually really liked throughout the whole entire film and actually feel bad mostly towards the end. But at first it's like, are you trying to manipulate them? Because originally Patrick and Zendaya's character Tashi are the ones together, but he kind of somewhat tries to intervene between their relationship, but because of something else that happens, they're the reason why they split up, and Art and now Tashi are together. But at first he kind of like tried to somewhat set them up for failure, and I was like, I'm not liking your character so far. But then when you see the story play out, I'm like, okay, you know what? He might have had bad intentions at first, but he moves on some bit, and like, you know, he went on to live his life, and he made something for himself, and actually just happened to finally get to be with the girl that he really liked at some point in his life. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I like that. And you know, you really see a character arc from Art himself, and who it really surrounds him as a whole. But overall, this is a very fucking toxic relationship. I really don't like this relationship, and not just because it's bad writing. It's good writing for all the right reasons, but it's like, I just didn't like anybody when they were in this relationship. Lesson learned: just do not have a threesome with your best friend. I don't know. I don't know how else can you know, I don't know how else to put that out there. Just don't do that. It's weird. It's gross. Don't even have a threesome at all. Just don't be in a love triangle with your best friend either. That's just where the toxicity begins. You know, it's good tension, and I liked it. But then the movie went on and goes on, and it kind of loses itself in its own story. You do have the story going back and forth between like different time periods, where it says like, okay, we went 13 years in the past telling from this point, and it jumps to like a week before like the present day somewhat, and it jumps back another like 8 years. It's like, so the movie can get somewhat messy in that way, and the pacing can get thrown all over the place of like, is it, are we in this point of the time period now, or are we in this point of the time period? And you do somewhat catch on a bit when you're in that point of the movie. It's like, okay, so we're at this point now. Okay, cool. And I don't like to be behind in the movie, because it feels like it just feels like it's moving way too fast in certain bits, but also kind of somewhat drags out in other bits as well. It's like, I don't want to feel like I'm being left behind in a film, and so there is bits in the film where I'm falling behind because the movie isn't being clear on its narrative of what point we are in the film. At some point in the film, I was kind of just losing interest. Like I was starting to not to be somewhat fully attended to the film, necessary to what some of the characters were saying. And maybe it might have been because I was distracted half the time looking at Zendaya's ass, and it's not my fault. don't blame me. It was just out there, all right. She was wearing nothing but a bra and underwear. It's not my fault. All right. Word of advice coming from a single guy. I don't know why I had to put that out there, but word of advice: if anyone went to see this movie on a date, and your girl asks you, "So whose ass looks better, me or Zendaya's?" You better say your girl, because that's a good way to be single. So even and if it's not true, because Zendaya does have a nice booty, just lie about it. I just really did not get Zendaya's end goal. Like, I understood what she was doing, and I did not like her and it's not, again, not bad writing. I just did not get the point of it. Like, I did not understand why she was doing it. And the movie just kind of just ends with too many questions and not really resolving any parts of the story. It's just like, wait, but you brought up this subject. What about it? And what about the resolution of everything? So the movie just kind of just like, hey, fill the questions for yourselves. And it's like, leave it up to your imaginations, which is fine, but not when it's like these big subplots to the film. I'm gonna give Challengers a C+. It's honestly a good time, but it's not really something you should really rush out to see. Kind of wait out to see it, or maybe catch it up on streaming or physical media. That's kind of how I see this film. It's, once again, it is beautifully shot, really put together very well, and there's a lot of effort in this movie just from a sports standpoint when it comes to his camera shots. Not really crapped on, but I gave The Long Game a lot of crap for its lack of creativity when it came to the actual sport. This one actually showed off a lot of its creativity in the sports, and that's what actually holds this film up a lot. Without that, this film could have actually dropped a lot for me. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching, and like always, I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye, guys.